No.
How long
Okay.
have you been homeless for?
4 years.
This video is about homelessness in the United States. And as a trucker, I drive all across the United States. I've been as far west as we can go on the mainland to as far east we can go. And one thing that I noticed is that the United States have hundreds of thousands of people who live every day without homes, without adequate health care, without food to eat. And many of these people are not even treated in a humane way. So stay tuned, and as always, I give my commentary at the end of the video. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe to the channel for more updates.
So ever since you were 21,
Yeah.
what happened to all your family?
I have my mom that lives out here, but we don't really hang out or talk. My brothers, but
So you have your
Yeah.
mom, your siblings.
mhm.
When was the last time that you talked to them?
Like 3-4 months ago. Yeah. They're doing good. But I'm just like, doing my own thing. They don't have really room at the house or anything, so
So they didn't tell you to come back home or anything like that?
no. No. They're like, get out of here. Leave, don't come back.
Why is that? Are you in bad terms with them?
No.
America, there's lots of women out here that are single and have no family, nobody, and they're out here homeless by themselves. And there's some that do have family, and they're out here by themselves with their kids, and they don't have nobody to protect them. You know that everyone looks down on homeless people, even the cops, and they get missing somehow. They get snatched up, them and their kids, and who knows what really happens to them. America, please do better. Like I said in my last video, a soul is a soul. I don't understand why people are so cruel to homeless people. And they think just because they're homeless, oh, they deserve to get missing. They deserve to die. You don't know what that person is going through, America. Please do better, America.
Did you hear that homelessness is up 12%? About 653,000 people were homeless. That's the most since our country started counting the homeless in 2007. Over 70,000 people have become homeless just this year. And a lot of them were homeless for the first time. Side note, how crazy is this ad in the middle of a story like this on homelessness? VIP, how you VIP. Downright dystopian. Why are people living on the streets? Soaring rents and a decline in coronavirus pandemic assistance. People who identify as Black make up about 13% of the US population, but comprise 37% of all people experiencing homelessness. People who identify as Hispanic or Latino make up 19% of the population, but comprise 33% of those experiencing homelessness. And over 25% of the adults experiencing homelessness were over age 54. California, New York, Florida, and Washington have the most homeless people. people in the country. The Democrats and Republicans are not prioritizing this enough. They can send money to Israel. Meanwhile, here in America, we are one medical emergency away from homelessness. Our society is sick. These are the most vulnerable people, and any one of us could find ourselves in a situation like this. If they can't get homelessness under control now, how are they going to get it under control as climate change picks up? As regions of the world become so hot that they are uninhabitable, people will be on the move, sleeping in the streets. What's their plan for that? Republicans just want to build a wall and try to keep everybody out.
Why are there people sleeping in the airport at Boston Logan? Look, those are beds and people sleeping in the airport at Boston Logan. What is going on?
Wow, y'all. So people are officially starting to get arrested for being homeless now. It's only a couple states where homelessness is still legal. So at this point, they can start arresting people that they suspect to be homeless just for the crime of not being able to afford housing. So basically, other than Oregon and Wyoming, they're saying that housing, not handcuffs, is basically, like I said, they're starting to crack down on homeless people around the country. And if they suspect that you're homeless, from what I understand, they can arrest you. This is a new bill that's coming into action, so I want y'all to be aware of this. This is really, really crazy how nowadays, basically, you can't afford to live, and you can't even afford not to live on the streets. Like, it's crazy. So if you pitch a tent in certain places, or you put out, like a cot or a sleeping bag or something like that, shopping cart in certain places in the country, you are suspect to get arrested just because of those things. So like I said, this is crazy, y'all. This is getting bizarre. How people can barely afford rent, and now you can't even afford to be on the streets.
Thank you. If you made it this far, then that means that you've seen the compilation clips of homelessness in the United States. Now, as a trucker, this is something that I see on a day-to-day basis. I probably see it more so than most Americans who spend their lives either at work or at home, and they don't really have much day-to-day interactions with the people who are homeless. My personal perspective is that I wish that homelessness did not exist, especially for the children that's out there and for the people who parents are homeless and they have to watch their mother or their fathers do unimaginable things to survive. Well, one would have to ask, why does this exist? In the richest nation in the world, how could there be homeless people? It almost doesn't make sense. And one of the places that really shocked me, I remember being in Sacramento, California, and they have these huge, apartment condominiums. And right next to the huge apartment buildings were people living in tents. I would say that the homeless problem is worse in the Northwest region, from California up to Seattle, Washington, and Portland. Is really third world, if you ask me, But the thing about the Sacramento thing that shook me as I'm driving, I remember going to Oakland, and I'm looking at the buildings. I'm like, wow. I was like, so every time these people who are probably struggling also leave their condominiums, they have to see these homeless people. And the homeless people in return have to see these people that's living high off the hog in their mind. I just thought to myself, I said, this is a perfect representation of capitalism. And you have the people that's up here, and then you have the people that's way down here. And the people that's way down here most likely will never get up here. And so that shocked me. I remember being in not Sacramento, Seattle, Portland and Seattle. Seattle is very beautiful. Portland is very beautiful, very scenic. But I remember as you're traveling into Portland, about 30 miles out, you just see homeless encampments. People living literally in tents, sleeping outside, and what do you do, right? Is so in your face. Another city that I was in Dallas, Texas, and this was before I started trucking. And I remember I used to do DoorDash, and so I'm driving through the city, and I see this man on the corner, and he's at the intersection, and the guy just looked like he had been through so much, and I just rolled down the window and gave him whatever food that I had, and I was just like, man, here. I give him a couple dollars, and usually when I see homeless people, I always, for the most part, I give up whatever I have. I remember being in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm fueling up the 18-wheeler, and a guy comes up to me and he's like, hey man, I just got out of prison. I have no reason to lie to you. I'm trying to get out of here. Could you give me $50, $60? And I listened to him, and I just said, okay. I went to the ATM. I came back, and I just gave him the funds. I'm like, man, just take it, And I remember being in, where was I? Oh, another story of Sacramento. We actually, my co-driver and I, we actually had an interaction with this homeless guy. This was Juneteenth, about a year ago, let's say last year sometime. So we're in Sacramento. We were off, so we're hitting up some hookah lounges, a couple bars and stuff like that. And the next day, we meet this homeless guy, and he's running there with us, and he said that he had family from the South where we were from. And so, man, we ended up buying them some food, some groceries and stuff, gave them a couple dollars. And in my mind, what I was struggling with, which really hurt me, was I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, this guy he's in the same age group as us. Like, he's just a couple years older than us. I was just thinking to myself, I wonder what he went through to make him get to this point, right? And so the problem that I have is that I see these things, and it has an effect on me. So I often would give, like I say, money to it, but I often wish, well, I don't have enough money to fix the homeless problem. Even if I gave all of the money that I make, I can't personally solve the homelessness issue. But I often think, well, why don't, our government take enough money and just build enough homes to where there's no homeless people? To where, it would be no reason for crime or some of these things if the homeless people could just get a place to stay. Instead, we do things like, we criminalize homelessness, we put them in prison. A lot of homeless people are victims of abuse. A lot of them are unalived for sport. And this really happens in the United States. Like this is very real. And I know a lot of people live a sheltered life. They don't really know what it's like to have to survive, and it's really sad. So I don't really have much to say after that. As always, I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. And if you can, propose a solution. What solution do you think could be given to solve this issue? Because it's a very, very serious and tragic issue.